Thank you very, very much. Can I get one more round of applause for the two merchants that we just had on stage? I thought that was... So these are partners of ours who are doing us a huge favor, sharing their insights. And first time on stage at a large event like this, and you know how difficult it can be to get in front of a large crowd and talk eloquently with insights for the first time. So we're very, very pleased to have them there. So thank you so much for that. So I have a few closing remarks, and I have some great news. The first thing I want to share with you are the winners of the Lucky Snap. I know it's everything you were waiting around for, right? It's the only reason you've stayed. So the Lucky Snap winners, I have 3 names. If you hear your name called out, you can jump up and shout and celebrate if you like. But at the end of this event, you can gather up here and collect your prize. Our first winner is Mr. Simon Liu from China Construction Bank in Hong Kong. Congratulations, Simon. Second winner, Ms. Patty Yarntudsanakit from Chan Wanik Security Printing in Thailand. Congratulations, Patty. And our third winner, I know you're on the edge of your seats. Our third winner is Mrs. Min Wang from Beijing Watch Data. So thank you very much and congratulations. So I just have a few, traditionally I just wrap up with a few comments, my observations on the last 3 days, and sharing with you some of the takeaways that I've been reflecting upon. Some of the things that I've learned over the couple of days, and some insights that I think you might be interested in. So first of all, in the spirit of Lucky Snap, I feel very, very lucky to be here. I feel very lucky, first of all, that we've been able to hold this event here in China. I think we've all got a lot to learn, those of us who are visiting China. We have a lot to learn from what's happening on the ground here in the payments industry. And I think it was a wonderful opportunity for us all to spend some time and just absorb the scale, the pace of change, and the unique aspects of the payments infrastructure here in this beautiful country. So I think I feel very, very lucky to have been here. Some of my favorite moments from the last couple of days, of course, it was a great privilege of mine to have Wodelaban, Chris Clark, our regional president, up here talking yesterday. And as I was listening to Chris, I thought, well, there's some new things and there's some old things in his presentation. So I want to not necessarily reflect on things that have been consistent over the last couple of years, but a couple of things that have changed. And the first thing I want to reflect on was data. So we've been talking about data for a long time, so that's not new. And the idea of scale and the idea of the type of data, whether it's now shifting to be more valuable, coming to us from in an unstructured manner. So the scale and the type of the data that we're dealing with has changed, of course. But I think what's changed more than that is the responsibilities we have now for how that data is going to be managed. So having conversations about open data, something that we haven't had before on this stage, I thought was very, very important. So the questions of architecture, the questions of ownership, the questions of governance, the questions of privacy, I think they're hugely important and becoming more and more important as we think about the next number of years. And Chris said, you know, more data, more problems. But we also believe more data, more opportunities, more benefits, more value. So let's make sure we get all of those factors, the scale, the data type, the questions of governance, the question of openness and privacy. Let's make sure we get the balance right between that so that we are all extracting the benefits from this increasing explosion in data. Another quick thing, just on the last conversation we had, really drove home to me the question of technology, the questions of infrastructure, the questions of reliability, resiliency, failover. These are the sorts of things that every organization in the payments industry needs to have as a series of no regret investments. Having your infrastructure solid, secure, reliable, these are no regret investments. So over the last couple of days, I've heard again and again, it came up sort of hidden in the conversations, but just really the last conversations about peak period, special sale moments, the transaction processing required, and the idea of having failover, super important messages as well that have come through the last couple of days. And then lastly, a couple of, just in terms of the top themes, we can't not talk about people. We talked about data, we talked about technology, we have to talk about people. And two things. First of all, people in our organizations still our weakest link. We are so flawed, really. We're so flawed in many, many ways. It is so easy to take advantage of our human frailties. So people still a weakest link. So therefore, we need to continue to invest in education, invest in training. And thank you so much for your organizations investing in you, having you come here today and to this event and over the last couple of days at the workshops as well. So please spread that word around. People are still our weakest link, and the answer is continuing to invest in them, continuing to share ideas, continuing to train, teach, and educate our people on the wonderful opportunities and the challenges in our industry. Now, we came here I opened up yesterday morning and I said, we've come here to share. This is a Visa public event. I made some observations last night that some people, that even in the room, we have some of our competitors. This is a Visa public event. We came here to share, and we absolutely have done that, sharing our insights and knowledge and our ideas and our plans and what we think will happen over the course of the next couple of years in our industry. So a couple of things on that. The core message, I guess, when I reflect back on the last couple of years and where we are today in 2019, we are executing on our strategy. We are executing on our global payment security strategy. Many of you live and work in markets where we now have our security roadmaps in place. These are clear, concise plans with a list of initiatives that you and we have agreed upon executing over the next couple of years. Investments in very, very important standards and very, very important technologies and very, very important solutions. So we're well on our way to executing on that strategy now. And the sessions today and the sessions yesterday, I thought really drove home the importance of that, especially yesterday when we had Rob and Anne join us for the last section of the day talking about the consumer experience of the future, especially in the e-commerce environment, and the importance of ongoing commitments through our execution of our roadmaps and through the evolution of that e-commerce experience. The fact that Visa is all in, fully invested in 3D Secure version 2, or EMV 3D Secure as it's called now. We're all in on devaluing data from the ecosystem by investing in tokenization. Tokenization for innovation purposes, tokenization for security purposes. And I almost got emotional listening to Stephanie from Traveloka talking so passionately about risk-based authentication. This is the answer to striking that balance between security and convenience that has been the topic of our agenda for multiple years. That is the answer. Risk-based authentication is the answer to solving those pain points and striking that right balance. And then lastly, from today's sessions, an unbelievable observation from the merchant side especially. The UI UX pain point, the step-up pain point, the timeout pain point, the fraud risk pain point, the elapsed time pain point, and the cost pain point. I thought, oh my gosh, it's so difficult. It must be so challenging to be a merchant. It must be so challenging to deal with all of those things. And then I thought everything we're doing from yesterday's conversation on the consumer side is exactly what's needed to solve the pain points for the merchant as well. They're exactly the same side of the coin that we want to solve for. So that e-commerce experience of the future will be wonderful when we get it right, when we make those investments together for both consumers and merchants on both sides of the commerce equation. And then lastly, Chris, I thought, totally nailed it when he said, there's also a question of trust. Merchants now have to worry about who's on the other end of the transaction. So the trust equation holds true for both consumers and for merchants. And that's why we're all here. That's why we are open. That's why we are running this as a Visa public event. That's why we are signaling our commitment to these investments. And that's why we are open to collaboration every day of the year to maintain that trust for consumers in digital payments, but also maintaining the trust of merchants as they go to grow their business. So, just a couple of observations. And to wrap up today, I want to say thank you. This is our biggest ever Asia-Pacific Security Summit. We had on Tuesday our annual Risk Executive Council meeting. We've had workshops going back to back all day on Tuesday. We have workshops today for those of you who are registered at 2 p.m. If you have any questions, please ask the information counter. And this event takes an unbelievable amount of planning and organizing. So a couple of quick thank yous. So please join me in a round of applause for these following people. The hotel staff here at the Shangri-La Pudong. What amazing, amazing performance they put on the last few days. So to the hotel staff, to our event organizers, Circus Maximus, who have been a wonderful partner in the last couple of years. We'd work with them again in a heartbeat. They have been exceptionally, exceptionally good partners. So to Circus Maximus and to our translation services as well. Thank you so much for everything you've done over the last couple of days. In Visa, we have a communications team who have been working around the clock, making sure that this event is on message, is consistent, is high quality, is legal. Good idea, right? They also ran yesterday a series of media workshops for almost every market in this region. We had dozens upon dozens of media here. It ran off absolutely flawlessly, even despite all of the announcements that we're making at around exactly the same time as the event taking place. So a flawless execution by our communications team. And our events team, of course, who have helped us put on this wonderful event today. And the last couple of thank yous, especially to my Visa colleagues in risk, and some of the other functions, those of you who have traveled long distances, those of you who have come on stage, those of you who have trained our delegates in the workshops. I know you've left your families behind. I know I ask you every year to come and help us, and we are truly grateful. So thank you very, very much for that. It's wonderful to have your support, and we are absolutely privileged to have you here. And lastly, to the best team in the world, the AP Risk team. Super proud of this team, and looking forward to having our annual dinner tonight. And then, of course, lastly, I want to say thank you to you, our partners, our clients, our incredibly important delegates. Thank you very much for your attention, your ongoing collaboration, and your commitment to protecting the security and the integrity of the payments industry. And we look forward to seeing you again next year. The last thing I'll leave you with is a video called Happy Faces. Thank you so much.